Hello, welcome to Ascension Arcana Tarot. This is Christine with a special reading today. I'm going to read on the energy of Mercury going retrograde into Sagittarius. It's happening today, which is November 25th. But if this reading comes across your video feed, that means there's probably a message for you here. As always, this is a general collective reading, so please take what resonates and leave the rest behind. God, what does this collective need to know for Miss Mercury in retrograde here? We have, oh, I love that. That's beautiful. Wow, what a great energy. So the way that I energetically, the way that I like feel or envision retrogrades is it feels like dipping in, kind of going backwards feels like dipping into me to like the energy from the past to sort of release something or heal something or resolve something from the past, from that past energy, in order to move forward and kind of have that like cleared out. So this to me is very much feeling like you kind of having like a victory over that. The feeling of triumph here, I just keep feeling like triumph. It's triumphant. The wands are the suit of fire. So it is like having that passion. It feels kind of like a famous person energy. It's kind of like a magnetic, like, energy that people kind of notice you, kind of drawing attention. She's in the spotlight here. The Queen of Wands is like very social, very outgoing, like very noticeable kind of public figure type energy. So that's really cool. It feels like you have some sort of like great triumph here, that's going on for you with the retrograde. That's cool. I like that. This guy grounds this. I felt this in the last reading that I did. Was it yesterday, the weekly reading, where we got a King of Pentacle and it really like grounded the energy. And I'm feeling that again. Like he's so peaceful. He's got like this jolly smile on his face. Let's see if I can focus on his face. There we go. He like reminds me of Santa Claus. It's so cute. I just love his energy. But he's got his pentacle. I feel like the pentacle is representing to me the thing that you've healed, right? Like this kind of prize that you've won. And just being like delighted with it, being happy with it. This is funny. The reading yesterday too kind of had this big long bottom line here. Oh man, this is cool. I'm just feeling the energy in this here. Yeah, this is a powerful message. The Page of Swords to me, it's funny that I was talking about being grounded here with the King of Pentacles, because I'm really feeling the Page of Swords as kind of the opposite. It's much more kind of flittering around. I'm feeling like sometimes with these cards, when I see like the black birds, it feels like ego chatter. I'm not feeling that at all, but I am feeling that sort of flittery, like these flittery, fluttering thoughts that are like your mind is kind of busy and a little bit all over the place. And it's inspiration. I'm feeling drawn to the light bulbs on this card, like kind of seeing them like illuminate, right? And having these little flittery, busy thoughts going on, and just these little pings of inspiration. It feels really nice. I feel like that resonates too with these wands, because the wands are the suit of creativity, right? That like fire, that passion, that creativity, which is really how you kind of fuel when you get those little thoughts of inspiration. That fire and that passion and that creativity is what fuels that, right? And helps you to bring that into a grounded place, right? Manifesting that on the earth. The King of Cups is like really lovely here. The King of Pentacles and the King of Cups are my two favorite kings in the deck. Like these are the kings. They're pretty stable. They're pretty calm. They're pretty peaceful. The King of Pentacles, I mean, being the earth suit, right? He's like very stable. The King of Cups lives a lot more on like the emotions and spirituality and his intuition. But together they make like this really nice, like stable emotional energy. It's like this very mature, really mature, stable energy. It feels really sweet and it feels really safe. The Two of Pentacles here is interesting. I'm feeling this as you I'm actually feeling this more of like a Two of Wands energy. That's interesting. In terms of you making a decision, I'm noticing like the movement of the card. It kind of feels like there's like a flurry of like wind or motion or something like that. And she's kind of having to decide if she's going to like continue spinning her pentacles or if she's going to sort of like hang on to them for a minute. So you might be in that where you're kind of deciding between like an energy of expansion versus an energy of contraction and like stillness and pause. And it's just up to you, I think, to kind of balance that. So, I mean, that's kind of the flow of life, right? Where we have times when we are expanding, there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of growth. And then we have those times where we kind of pause, we reflect, we go slow. It's almost like inhaling and exhaling, right? So inhaling to me would be the pause and reflecting. And then the exhaling would be like you made a decision and you move forward again. And that's when the growth and the expansion happens. And then the Empress and the Fool, I love that. I feel like I'm really drawn to her being pregnant. And this feels very much to me like a creating energy. This sort of forward moving, like inventing something, right? Or like being an artist and you get like inspired to do like a new type of sculpture or a new type of painting. And then maybe that like spawns this whole new branch of your career, right? Where like this is really the successful launch or something. But the inspiration and the creativity here in the cards is really sticking out to me. And then these two kings bringing in that spirituality, that intuition, and then like that groundedness, right? And that physical like rootedness and safety. It just feels so good. This is really neat. So I'm feeling the pregnancy of her is like your manifestations sort of growing in this like pregnancy phase, right? Where you might not be at the point of actually like creating it yet, but I feel like the Fool is you reaching that point. I'm drawn to like the light here, sort of attracted to like this crystal in her hand, where all of a sudden the universe gives you a signal. It's an energy of like flipping a light switch on and you're like, okay, it's go time. And then the symbolism of the Fool, right, is that the Fool kind of walks off the cliff and the hands of the universe, the hands of God sort of catch her as she takes that leap of faith. This is a really cool energy. Really cool. It's very interesting that this is what's coming up for Mercury retrograde. I'm wondering if on this side we'll get into more of like what specifically you're kind of healing or going into in the retrograde. But I feel like whatever it is, if there are any like blocks or barriers or like hesitations that you're having to allowing this project, this creativity, this expansion that's coming in, I feel like if there's any blocks or barriers, that's probably the next part that we're going to talk about. But I'm going to leave it up to the universe. It's not my job to guide the reading. So, God, what advice do you have for the folks in this collective for this Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius? I feel called to say, too, Sagittarius is a fire sign. So I feel like it's very conducive to sort of channeling this passion or maybe even like healing any blocks or barriers that might be there around that passion. The ladies in those cards, the Six of Wands and the Queen of Wands, they're very confident. Like they're very confident. They're very much in the spotlight. So whatever this is that this spark, this creative spark that you're having might kind of place you in the spotlight. And I'm wondering if you kind of have like some shyness or hesitation about that. There are some cards here that have like a much more reserved energy. I just felt drawn to say, like, I feel like you're not accustomed to being in the spotlight and that there might be kind of some blocks around that. So the Ace of Cups is so sweet. It just, I'm super drawn to, her kind of focusing her on that love energy in her heart. So for me in my spiritual work, this card really resonates for me. We do something called a mirror exercise. where you basically just bring love to the pieces of yourself that need healing, right? And are feeling like they need love and attention. And that very much feels like that to me, kind of going into that heart space, going into any of those hurt places inside of yourself and just giving yourself the love and attention that you need. This is funny. I had talked about the Two of Pentacles energy and how she feels windy to me. And then the cards are kind of like flying out, almost like it's a windy day and there's stuff like flying around. King of Wands and the Three of Cups. I mean, that's his queen. That's like a divine pair. It's like a very passionate divine pair too. They're beautiful. I feel like I'm drawn to different aspects of the cards, but I feel like I'm drawn to like his smoldering gaze again. Just that intensity and like that passion and the sort of invitation that's there in his gaze. It's like a pretty magnetic energy. I just feel like it's again that fire, that passion, that creativity. You're going to be in like a very magnetic energy. And the Three of Cups here, I'm just feeling this. Okay, so I have something to say about both of these guys. So the Three of Cups is that energy of friendships. It's just like beautiful platonic friendships, having people around who support you. These would be like your best buddies that like if you have, you know, your art show from this thing that you've created, these are your best friends who are like the first people that you invite, right? Because you love them so much and they're going to be there cheering you on and supporting you, like completely free from jealousy or anything like that. Like your best girlfriends or your best friends who would just be there loving you and like genuinely cheering you on in your success. It's like a really sweet energy. I'm feeling called to say like, so sometimes with Mercury in retrograde, there's a lot of stuff that happens, right? There's usually it's associated with like, what would you call it? Things not going right, I guess, like kinks in the system with like technology or with communication. I feel like those are the two biggest ones. I'm feeling called to say, so like this guy feels like a romantic partner to me, and this feels like best friendships. And with this Ace of Cups here too, I'm really feeling like if you are in a romantic connection, or having like these best friendship connections, right? To make sure that during this time period, these next few weeks, you really are bringing like an extra mindfulness to them and maybe even like an extra like dose of love, right? And when I say that, I don't mean to like, how do I say this? We all have our kind of personal internal reserves of love, right? And there's things that we do that sort of refill that cup of love within us. So that would be the things that we love, right? Exercising, eating good food, taking a bath, cuddling with pets, reading a book, right? Whatever are the things that you love that are sort of your like self-care things. Making sure that you are still filling your own well. But one of the things that I practice is trying to allow basically God, source, the universe, like that just pure love energy to flow through me and to be able to use that energy when it comes to like doing my life purpose work, doing these readings, working with kids, different things like that, right? So that I'm not constantly draining myself from my own personal like reservoir of love. So I feel like that might be helpful. And I wanted to caveat that, like, I definitely don't feel an energy of that you should like drain yourself or anything like that. But if you have like an overflowing cup, or at the very least, just maintaining your own cup that's full to like a healthy level. But being able to be just especially like gentle and loving and sweet in any of your relationships, right? So it could come up in a romantic situation. It could come up in a friendship situation. This is almost like a heads up to you. So like you have the heads up, right? That things are going on, but your friends or romantic partner might not. And they might just need a little bit of extra love and care and patience. And 10 of Wands in the Moon. Yeah, so I feel like this is an interesting reading. The Ten of Wands for me is that card of a burden, and I'm really drawn that like this has been a long journey for her, right? Like it kind of even shows you like the pathway over this hill and stuff, and she's even being blown around by the wind too. You can see like her dress. I keep feeling that feeling, and it doesn't for me feel like a physical wind. It feels like an energetic wind, like a bit harsh and dry wind, just sort of like pushing you. So if you're in this collective, you might even be feeling kind of pushed along by some kind of energy flow that you're in right now. And it doesn't necessarily feel great. It kind of feels like it's blustery and kind of gusting and like blowing you a little bit all over the place, and you're like a little bit disheveled and like frazzled by it. It would be like one of those days where the wind is just swirling a lot, right? So you kind of can't ever aim yourself the right way, so that you're maybe like walking into it, or there's nothing like organized or predictable about this energy. Yeah, it kind of feels like being tossed around a little bit. I'm not really sure how else to describe that. Or like a kite almost, right? Where the kite is like getting tossed around in an unpredictable way. It's really interesting. I feel like that's part of the healing that you're doing is grounding. I'm really drawn to this King of Pentacles. I feel like he's like the rock of this reading. All the other energy, even the Empress, which is funny because she's like a very earthy energy too, but everything else is feeling a little bit like airy-fairy to me. But this King of Pentacles is so peaceful, and he's like inside, cozy in his peaceful library. So like even if the winds are blowing around him, right? Like he's unaffected. I feel like part of what's happening in this energy is that you're learning to cultivate that deep peace and not be sort of like blown around by kind of this chaotic energy. This is interesting. I don't even know if this transit is supposed to be chaotic, but I feel like that's what's coming up, is just being blown around by the wind like that. But you finding your peace within it, right? You're sort of pregnant with this creativity and then taking that leap of faith. And those are things that are like within your control, right? So you have no control over how the universe is showing up in terms of like the energy stream at the moment, right? But you have control over your free will decisions. And I feel like you are choosing this triumphant glow up energy. It's really nice. So anyways, I feel like the Ten of Wands is just you feeling like you're at the end of this journey where you've been sort of blown around. I kind of feel like this is the energy that you're going back into the retrograde to heal, especially being in conjunction with the moon here. So feeling like weary and exhausted, and like you just feel like you have nothing else to give. And in the symbolism of the Ten of Wands, it's like you're almost there, right? And you're going to make it. You're going to be successful with whatever this project or journey is that you're on, but you're going to be dead tired at the end of it. So it's like you're just dragging yourself like those last few steps or that last half mile or whatever, just to be done with the thing, right? And the moon is like the depths of your emotions. So I feel like that's what I was talking about when I was talking about the retrograde, kind of going backwards into the past, taking care of releasing or healing whatever is still kind of stuck there, right? Or whatever is still there for you, and then being able to move forward. So I feel like that's what this is about, is being able to move backwards into that exhaustion energy. Kind of complete whatever this thing is that you need to complete, whatever this burden is. I feel an air of sadness with this card. Like you can see even the colors are kind of reminding me of like depression, just that sort of feeling where there's like no color in the world, right? There's nothing interesting going on. Everything's kind of plain. Everything's like a little foggy. Going back into this retrograde energy, and I feel like the energy of that is going to support you, of diving into those feelings and healing them. because otherwise the rest of this energy is so beautiful and so triumphant. I really feel a lot of like vivacity and like color and life, right? Kind of being breathed into this energy as you're releasing it. It's like you get to release the depression or the sadness or the exhaustion, right? Or the overwhelm. And then as you're releasing it, it leaves that energy leaving, creates space inside of your consciousness, and you get to choose what you put in that space. And I feel like you're filling it with triumph, you're filling it with delight, you're filling it with groundedness, with inspiration, with peace, and with sort of the pregnancy, right? The growing of what you're manifesting as your next step. And then the freedom of being able to make the choice and say, okay, universe, I'm ready to take that step. So I'm really feeling these two cards together. Is the universe saying, feel your feelings? Just feel your feelings. It feels really good. I totally want my yin yang deck. And I don't know where it is. There it is. All right. So sometimes I love to use this yin yang oracle to talk about blocks. I find the honesty of this deck to be pretty brutal most of the time. So it's very straightforward for me, at least. But yeah, I find it really helpful for identifying blocks and also just kind of seeing where we're going right as well. So universe, what else do you have to say to wrap up this message here for this collective? Any advice? Any thoughts of wisdom? We have family, home, commitment. I'm drawn to the shoes. It's interesting. You know, I got this vibe in the weekly reading that I did yesterday. So I live in the US, right? And we have Thanksgiving coming up here on Thursday. So it could be that this emotional piece for you is related to some family stuff that's going to be coming up as you go into Thanksgiving. So this could be maybe it's like some words of wisdom from your little niece or nephew, and you're like, holy cow, like wow, that changed my life if that kid just said that, right? Or it could be some things that come up around like woundedness of your inner child. I almost want to say like the energy still feels kind of sweet. So whatever it is, I don't think it's, it's not like an abusive family or something like that. It could be like a sadness, like what's coming up for me. I keep channeling art, I think, because of this creative vibe over here. But let's say that like your parents, didn't want you to be an artist, but you like love art, right? And they kind of steered you away from that when you were a kid. And there could just be like a wound there around like, wow, I wonder what my life would have been like if I had pursued like this creative passion that is part of my soul. Like I was born with that. And it could be that your mom maybe at Thanksgiving is like, I saved all of your old artwork and I always thought you were such a talented artist. And maybe she shares with you like, some sort of encouragement that like you never perceived at the time when they were sort of trying to steer you in a different direction or whatever. And maybe that's what makes you be like, wow, my mom really believed in me. Like I never realized that. There's like a sweetness to that energy that like, I wouldn't feel like your parents were trying to like hurt you or abuse you in any way or anything like that, but that they thought at the time they were doing what was best for you, right? And I wonder if in this specific example that I'm giving, maybe they would kind of realize that they regret that they see that spark in you, right? That creativity, that joy, that inspiration, and realize that that would be the thing that would fulfill your life, right? So that's just an example. It doesn't have to be that for you. It's just the way that I can think of to explain the energy. There's a sweetness to that. But I also feel like this is very much linked to this 10 of Wands and Moon card and like the healing. I love that. Masculine. This is just bouncing off the King of Wands to me. This is very interesting. We have 3 out of the 4 kings here. So I'm not necessarily feeling this as like a romantic energy. I very much am feeling this as more of like a life purpose journey for you, and then just like a glow up energy for you individually. But this does make me wonder if this will resonate. If this is a good time to take a look at what masculinity means to you, whether you're divine feminine, divine or divine masculine. With 3 out of the 4 kings here, it just feels like they're different. Sorry, they're just different archetypes, right, of masculinity that were created by the folks who created this tarot deck. But I'm feeling that. It's like, do you want the King of Cups? Do you want the King of Pentacles? Does the King of Wands suit your fancy? Like, it almost feels like a dating website or something where you're like kind of picking and choosing like what you feel resonates for you, what you feel is compatible for you, right? And yeah, my spiritual teachers really emphasize making a love list. So if you feel like that resonates for you, that might be a great practice to do here, to just sit down and say, like, what are the things that I would be looking for in an ideal partner, right? And that you don't have to settle, because I feel like with this, you are taking a huge leap of faith into something that you were made to do. Like, there's a reason why this is so passionate for you, and you have all this inspiration, right? And there's this like grounding energy kind of holding it all together. This feels very divine, and it feels very related to like your life purpose, like your purpose here on the earth. So yeah, I mean, as you're leveling up and having this glow up into your life purpose and just into like higher levels of yourself, I feel like you're going to become a lot more attractive to the masculine. Like, this feels like the kind of breakthrough that even could be calling your twin flame in. That's really cool. Yeah, this is a big healing. These 2 cards are really important. Going back and healing whatever this sadness and exhaustion energy is, and being willing to go deep with it. I keep getting lately these deep, deep energies. I remember yesterday it was the Hermit, and now it's the Moon. Going deep down within yourself and just loving yourself. That Ace of Cups, just pouring your own love into the places that feel sad and exhausted and like barren and blown around, right? Kind of disheveled and disoriented. It's really beautiful. Yeah, I feel like if you're in this collective, making a love list would be an awesome idea. Epiphany and Breakthrough. That was a huge chunk. We're not going to take that one, but I do feel like there's probably one more. Epiphany and Breakthrough. He's actually reminding me of the 6 of Wands with her arms upstretched and even outstretched, and then the spotlights coming down on her. He's sort of similar, but he has the instead of spotlights, it's just the sun. And it's water. It feels like this is you having had your epiphany and your breakthrough, and you burst back out through the surface of the water, right? You come back up and you just take that like first gasping breath of air, right? And how it just like fills you with life and like with that oxygen and clarity, and the sweetness of how good it feels to like take a fresh breath. I love that. That feels awesome. That's what this feels like to me. This is really funny. It's like, this is what you're going into for Mercury retrograde, is this row right here. And this is all the stuff that feels like it's coming in as a result. That's really cool. Oh, I felt called to say this before, and I think I just got swept up in the energy and I forgot about it. But I was feeling like, so retrogrades sometimes can be a time of a bit of like confusion, or the energy can be a little bit deceptive. So a lot of readers or astrologers will say like, don't make big decisions during a retrograde, because the energy just sort of has like a deceptive quality. So you can't always get clear, or you might make a decision and then realize afterwards that there was like a whole handful of facts that you were missing out on that like would have led you to make a different decision, right? So if there is, take this if it resonates, right? Use your own free will, use your own judgment. The energy that I'm feeling here is that it might be a good time to get really clear on friendships or relationships and just feel what's genuine, feel what feels right. So I feel like that Ace of Cups, right? It's just that feeling of love. And like, if there's love in a relationship, I feel like you just know that, right? I was talking about kind of those, your best friends, right? Who would be supporting you, kind of free from jealousy, right? Kind of just being present. And again, not a great time to make decisions, but I do feel like it's a good time for just kind of questioning and being present and seeing what things feel like when you're with different people in your life. And getting really clear on what are those friendships that are really for your highest good, that are really like aligned with love. What are those romantic well, hopefully, maybe you're in one, maybe you're in several, I don't know. What romantic connection or connections do you have that really feel like they resonate from a place of love, of like goodwill and, partnership, communication, like loyalty, all of those good things that go along with friendships and romantic relationships. Just getting clear on that. I don't necessarily feel like it's a time to take any action, but I do feel like it's a time of being able to gain some clarity as you're like doing this healing. So we have cycles and completion and change, higher self and activation, and assistance and spirit guides. That's beautiful. I was talking about cycles with this Two of Pentacles card, right? And talking about how she feels to me like she's being blown around in that wind, and how you kind of get to decide if you are just going to like throw your hands back, right, and lean into the wind as a part of expansion, right, in your cycle, or if you're kind of going to hunker down a little bit and have that sort of inhaling breath of taking a pause and taking a break. And it just feels like being able to like ride those cycles and do it maybe in a little bit more of a comfortable way, so that as this kind of windy energy is like buffeting you or whatever, that you have some stability in it. You have this King of Pentacles, that groundedness and that peace and that stability. And that just comes from within you, from doing healing. And I feel like this is related to that. It's beautiful. Higher self and activation. Yeah, I feel like that's what we were talking about over here, where this is you having a big glow up, you having a big level up. And I'm really feeling like this is you diving into your life purpose. So either just completely diving into that, like from out of nowhere, like maybe you've had a corporate job, and I just keep channeling art, and you have a corporate job and all of a sudden you're like, I'm going to be a painter, and you just quit your job and you go back to art school or something and you like become this famous painter. Or it could be going just deeper into a phase of your life purpose journey. Like maybe you don't quit your corporate job, but you do start taking painting classes on the side or something like that, right? It really feels like whatever this creativity and passion and inspiration is very much connected with your higher self, and really having that, either activating for the first time or activating on like a way deeper level. This feels very significant. It's a nice energy. It feels very powerful. And then assistance and spirit guides. I love that. I feel like this is the universe telling you like, hey, we are here to help you. Call on us. I was listening to someone speaking earlier today, and she was saying that like, why would you not have a conversation with God? God's like your best friend, right? It's just like, have a conversation with him. God, what do you want me to know? God, what can I do to like best align with where you want me to be, with what you want me to do? How can I best serve you? What am I missing, right? What am I not clearly seeing about my path, about myself? Being able to just have a conversation with the divine about that. It's important. Like of all of the beings or energies or entities that exist in the universe, like I feel like God is the most important one to have a conversation with. And so often we just don't think of it. But calling in that support from God, your ancestors, angels, your highest self, like whatever resonates, I feel like this is the universe absolutely saying, please do. Please do. And I feel like especially the kind of cloudy feeling of this card is really reminding me of the Ten of Wands. So these two are like right together. Like I feel like it's the universe saying, I want to help you in this Mercury retrograde energy to kind of go back, dip back into this energy of Sagittarius, heal this thing that's kind of weighing you down, right? This denseness, this fogginess. I don't know. It's like a blandness. That's a really good word to describe how I feel this. It's so bland. And it's like so the opposite of this passionate, like colorful, vibrant, powerful, beautiful, glowing energy over here. You're going back to heal some sort of blandness, some sort of depression energy. You're having this big breakthrough, bursting through the surface, gasping for air. And it's like, that's your moment where you're like, whoa, and the spotlight's on you. And then like all this just sort of takes off and you just dive into your life purpose. It feels awesome. I feel like the energy of the spirits in the universe want very badly to help you heal this. So that's what call them in for everything, right? They're happy to help. My spiritual teachers like to say that God is very shy. And I think that's so sweet. Like, and it's true. Like, we have free will, right? We have to invite God to partner with us. We have to invite God into that conversation with us. God does not just sort of impose himself on any of us. So being willing to kind of open up and ask. So take that if it resonates. For me, I would totally be asking God for help with that because it's very powerful. Once you transform that energy, that's coming in is really amazing. And I feel like you're gonna like delight God, the universe, like the angels, whatever you believe in, so much. This is like delightful to them that they kind of get to flow through you and help you be creative and create your life purpose. It's really lovely. That feels super complete. I kind of went on and on about it, but I'm super into this energy. It's really powerful. All right. Well, that feels complete to me. Happy healing, you guys, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye.